Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In this week's Parsha, we find a couple of places where people get to meet someone new for the very first time and they introduce themselves. We find how Eliezer meets Rivka for the first time and he says to her, Bas Miat. I ask her who you are. And she says, Bas Besuel ben Nocher. I am the daughter of Besuel, the son of Nocher. Which is funny. You don't just ask somebody on the street who you are. And Rashi right away says that when he actually gave her something first, but when she says this story, she doesn't say he gave me first something, because it's not normal for somebody to give a present before you even know who the person is. So Rashi discusses that. But I'm not even going to talk about that part of the story. I'm going to talk about an even funnier part of the story. Later on is when Rivka is finally convinced that the shidduch should be a good shidduch. So she leaves with Eliezer, and she's convinced that she's going to see her basherta. She doesn't know yet who he is. And so she's traveling back, and then Vatisa Rivka say now, Rivka sees Vatera es Yitzchak. She sees Yitzchak. Vatipo me ala gamel. She falls from the camel. Vataimer ela Eved. She says to the Eved, Mia ish halazeh. Who's this man? Ha'hoilech basada likrasenu. Who is this man who's walking against us? Now, first of all, you're talking about Rivka Imenu. It doesn't sound right, like a Rivka, to ask about men walking on the street. So Rashi says, Rasa Isai Hadar. She saw him very pleasant. She saw him very nice looking. So she asked. She asked, and she was embarrassed a little, so she asked. But that doesn't really answer the question. It's not typical for a woman, a sneeristic woman like Rivka, to ask, who is this man? So the Bali Tosfos ask this question, and they answer like this. It's based on the Medrash. The Medrash says that that Yitzchak was very, very strange at this point. You get ready. The Medrash says that Yitzchak coming against Rivka here, you might hear something funny, was walking Roishay Lamata Viraglav Lamaila. His head was on the floor, his head was on and the feet were up. His head was on the bottom and the feet was up. Upside down. That's how he was walking. He was walking head on the ground, and the head and the hand and the feet were up. So obviously, when you see somebody walking that way, your head on the ground, Roishay Lamata, Raglav Lamaila, strange. So she's asking, who's this guy? Now it makes a little sense why she's asking the question. But now the question becomes, come on. Why would Yitzchak be walking? How do we understand the Medrash? Why would Yitzchak be walking that way? What does the Medrash mean? Now the question, what does the Medrash mean, is not my question. The Chidah asks the question, and the Chidah says, "V'zeh chidush gadol ve'einei muven." I'll tell you the truth. It's a Medrash. It's a very shocking Medrash, and I don't know how to explain it. What does it mean that he's walking with his hands on the ground, with his head on the ground and his feet up? What does that mean? I have no way to explain it. Well, the story is told that the Munkacher Rebbe, as a youngster, as a 13-year-old, was walking once, and he saw him reading this Medrash and reading this Chidah, and said, do you maybe have a pshat? And he said a wonderful pshat, and I would like to share with you this pshat because it has a tremendous lesson. He says, we all know that Yitzchak's level is Gevura. Gevura is might, being tough. And this will give us a lot of understanding in the future parshas. Because Yitzchak was Gevura, now you have to understand that why was Yitzchak also Roishay Lamata Raglav Lamaila? because Yitzchak just came from Gan Eden. Why was he in Gan Eden? Because not too long ago, 2 years ago, he was by the Akedah. He got damaged by Avram actually hurting him. So it says he went to Akedah for 2 years to heal, and he went to the Gan Eden for 2 years to heal. And that's how they look in the Gan Eden. So coming back from Gan Eden, this is what he looks like. But so, what is the effect in Gan Eden upside down? What does that mean? So listen to what the Minchas Elazar says. The Minchas Elazar says, Yitzchak is Gvura. Gvura means there is Gashmius and there is Ruchnius. Don't mix the two. Don't mix the two. The Ruchnius is being spiritual, totally spiritual. Gashmius being physical, all fagrept. So when it came to time to give the bracha, V'yitin lecha lekim, give very lofty spiritual brachas, Yitzchak at his level says, you know who deserves to give the brachas? Now when I'm giving brachas, and some of these brachas are gashmiistic brachas, physical brachas, let me give it to Esav. Because physical brachas deserves a guy like Esav, not Yaakov. Who needs the brachas? Physical stuff, Esav. So, a spiritual person like Yaakov shouldn't deal with Gashmias. Those two things don't mix. Rivka Imenu, however, realizes that, today's days, Hashem created the world that Gashmias and Ruchnias are meant to work together. And to have an esrog, to have children study Torah, you need money to support a Talmud Torah. You need money to support a teacher. You need money to buy a nice esrog. So you need Gashmias to have a nice Ruchnius. So we have to figure out some tricks, how to mix the two. So therefore, listen to how the Munkatcher Rebbe says. She sees that Yitzchak has his head in the ground, and he's flying in the air. Raglav L'mayla is symbolizing, this is what the Munkatcher Rebbe translates. Raglav L'mayla means his feet are not planted on the ground. He's flying in the air. So what does she do when it comes to the brachas? She says, Vatika chatzeif, take a handkerchief, when it comes to the marriage now, and cover. She gets covered. Like Rivka, Eliezer and Rivka, Vatika chatzeif, take the handkerchief, and Vatchas, and she covers. Now, pay attention. Sa'if, the handkerchief, Sa'if is a Rashi Tevas. Tzrichim Amcha Yisrael Parnasa. That your Jewish children need Parnasa. Remember that Parnasa is Ruchnius, as the famous statement is brought in Yom, I think. Yiddish Gashmius is Ruchnius. Gashmius and Ruchnius are one thing. Rivka was trying to turn this thing around. Take your feet and plant them back on the ground. And this is what this story is all about. And hopefully we got the brachas settled straight.